Hello, everybody. How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you all. My goodness. Hello, welcome. Welcome to our kitchen. We tried to clean it up so it looked good. Hello there. Can everybody hear us okay? Raise, give me a big thumbs up if you can hear us. Awesome. Double thumbs up, triple thumbs up. I love it. Excellent. Oh, now, so how many of you are cooking with us today? 1, 2, excellent, excellent.
Jenny?
Yes, ma'am.
Jenny, could I quickly say something? This is
Yes.
Lori with Friends of PEB.
Yes, hold on a sec. Let me spotlight you for everybody. This is awesome. And first of all, I just want to say, this is awesome, everybody. We are so excited to do this. So here you are, Lori.
So I am actually traveling, and I am right here in Pennsylvania from Portland, Oregon, and you can see this lovely lady over here behind me, Miss Vita, and this is Pam. If you haven't seen Pam, Pam is also an employee, and so we have had a beautiful lunch here together, and we were at a church this morning. This is the first time that I've met either of these ladies in person.
Oh, that's great.
And so we won't be able to stay on, but we just wanted to pop in and say, first of all, thank you and your husband for doing this very generous experience for us. And hello, and we love all of our donors who are a part of this.
Oh, it's so wonderful. Thank you so much. It is such a joy.
It seems only fitting if you're so close that as we have, by the end of the day, are going to have way more samosas than our household can eat right now. Over.
If we didn't have such a tight schedule, because I'm here for such a short time, we would take you up on that next trip.
Next time. That sounds
Next trip.
Definitely.
Zindabad.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Jen, so wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
Well, this is
There's
fantastic.
Sally. Hi, Sally.
Hi, Sally.
I was going to say, can you see everybody okay?
Well, we're moving through.
Hold on, I'm going to remove the spotlight so you can see everybody. Hey, why don't we do this? So
There's Sam. Hi, Sam.
Can you give us a shout out as to where you are and who you are and where you're cooking from today?
Hi, Jem.
Hi, Jem.
So in the chat down below, can you tell us who's cooking with us today and where are you cooking from?
Yeah, Jim and Ann Crow from Hershey.
Oh, so very far away. I'm waving in your general direction.
Go ahead.
Sam and Jean Martin from Michigan.
Oh, nice.
Where in Michigan?
Holland.
Go down and say hello to our friends at the bridge.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Cheryl Burke from Atlanta,
Oh, there.
formerly of Lahore, Pakistan.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
Vita.
Hi, how are you, Cheryl? It's so
I'm
wonderful.
good. How are you?
You to see you at the board meeting, Baba.
I know. I'm actually, I get to see Vita next week at the board meeting. So
Yes. She's our chair.
Wait a minute.
So wonderful.
I see a name that just popped up. I see Champaign, Illinois, Naomi Rempe. Where is Naomi?
Right there.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Goodness gracious. Hello. Virtual hug, Naomi. Sorry, we've known Naomi for, well, not that long because we're all very, very young.
Yeah.
But for an awful long time. It's awesome to see you. Bob and Jen, where are you cooking from today?
Well, we're not cooking, we're just salivating together. But we're from Yam Hill, Oregon.
Sorry, was that where in Oregon?
From Yam Hill, Oregon. You've heard of Yam Hill, I'm sure.
They're my neighbors.
Oh, that makes it easy. Excellent. Excellent. And Pam J, where are you cooking from today?
We're from Amity, Oregon, which is near Bob and Jan. We know them, and Pam Jackson and John Bush.
We have to leave, but I just wanted to pop in and say hello and thank you to everyone.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Thank
Very
you.
nice to finally meet you.
Thank
face to
you.
face. We'll see you
All right,
again.
bye-bye.
And Sally, I see your name, but I don't know where you're cooking from today. Oops, and you are on mute. Hold on a sec. I think that's going to be the line of like the last 12 to 18 months. You are on mute.
Mhm.
I'm just asking you to unmute, Sally, so we can hear where you're cooking from today, and some beautiful sunshine behind you.
And she,
She's on the phone. I do hate the mute options. Well, Sally, it is great to have you. It's great to have all of you here today. Let me do some introductions. I'm Jenny,
and I'm Yusuf.
and we are with Bunyaad. Bunyaad is a fair trade rug company based out of Lahore, Pakistan, and Lidditz, Pennsylvania. We work with over 850 families throughout 100 villages in Pakistan, all through the concept that when people are paid fairly, they can focus on life. They can focus on planning for their families. They can focus on their kids' education. And I think that's something that brings us all here together, because just like for those of you who bought the bundle, just like this tree of life plate, to me, fair trade is that tree of life. It's giving, Bunyaad means foundation in Urdu. And what we feel very strongly is that without fair trade, families don't have a strong base in which to grow and which to flourish. And I think we all know how incredibly important education is and how it opens up avenues and possibilities. And so we are thrilled that all of you are joining around us with that in mind, and cooking, because we also know that filling our bellies is also a wonderful, wonderful way to grow. Now, I know some of you could make it to our main store in Lidditz, Pennsylvania with just a little hop, skip, and a chocolate jump from Hershey, Pennsylvania. But since some of you are farther away, we thought before Amr leaves for the day, we would just give you a quick glimpse inside of our new location here in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. So Amr, hold on a sec. Hello, Amr.
Hello.
So
Hey, guys.
I hear you had a busy day today.
Yes, we had a busy day, and welcome everyone to Bunyaad, the main location. So let me just switch that around so you can all see what our store looks like. Some of you who have not been to the store, this is what we look like. Just gonna give us a glimpse of what the store is, and then just gonna walk over to.
So Amr, we are looking at roughly right now about 1,500 different carpets from Pakistan, and then things from all of our fair trade friends like 10,000 Villages, Serve, Global Mamas. And Amr, I do believe your wife gave you a honey-do list before you left work. She's been home making samosas today, right?
Yes, so just like some of you actually got these dishes, I was told to bring these to put some the sauce for the samosas in the side. So I just picked up 2 of those, and as you can see around the store, there's certainly a lot more to go through, and you can certainly do that through our website for people who are not close by. So plus, we're very excited that we just received our first shipment that we've been waiting for almost a year plus of rugs. So it finally arrived. So we're very excited. We're going to be checking the shipment in the next week or 10 days, which is now it just takes a little bit longer for us to do all of those things with this wonderful store that we have here. So I'm just going to slowly walk through, and yeah, as you can see.
Well, thank you, Amr. I really appreciate the quick glimpse. And I'll tell everybody that by next week, we will have all shed about 15 or 20 pounds as we bring in those over 600 new pieces into our stock. Or at least we would like to think we're going to shed about 15 to 20 pounds. Yeah. I don't know.
I just want to say hi to Naomi because,
a shout out to Naomi from Amr. So I just love this whole Zoom life. I have to say, seeing friends and new friends from all over. Thank you. Amr, thanks
Thank
very
you.
much. And you better get home because I just heard your wife call me and say that the samosas have just been made. So you better hurry up.
Yes, sounds
All
good.
right.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, we're going to come back to our kitchen. Does everyone have something nice poured for themselves? Everyone? You know, I was told by Laurie, this was a group, that it was okay to talk about drinking. Was she telling me the wrong thing? All right. No, it looks like it was okay. So Yusuf and I mixed ourselves we sell this really cool thing called black lime, which we rimmed our glasses. So we have sort of like a citrusy gin drink with cardamom and grapefruit bitters. So cheers to you for joining us. I know we like it a little bit spicy, and we might even put a little bit of smoked paprika on the top, but okay. So some of you are cooking with us today, some of you aren't, but I think it is super easy to make samosas, especially once you know some of the technique that goes into mixing the dough, and as well as sort of making the really cool little dough funnel so that you can stuff it nicely.
Yeah, you can stuff it nicely.
Now, Yusuf, I just want to pick on you.
Mhm.
For any of you who don't know, Yusuf and I started working together in 1994. We're not the fastest folks. By 2000, we sort of realized that we enjoy working together and we enjoy being together. And so in 2003, you could say, all right, wait for it. This is my only joke. We tied the knot. And so we have been cooking together, flipping rugs together, and basically working for fair trade together ever since. So, which is sometimes hilarious. So part of this is a party, and part of this is watching husband and wife trying to cook together, and who have two different ways of cooking. So, Yusuf, you have a very close connection to samosas.
Yes, I do.
Sort of education based,
Yes,
right?
Yes, very educational based. I went to my middle and high school. On the way back, I used to walk about 3 miles, and the bazaar that is very well known from Lahore, Pakistan, is called Anarkali Bazaar, and there was used a samosa shop, like a sweet shop that has been there for a very long time, and they made samosas, both vegetarian and non-vegetarian. But they made a special sauce that I still can't find anywhere else, or unless we made at home. So they always had a prune and apricot sauce that made with their samosas. And their brand is so well known, and they still keep their shop very small. They did not grow into a big shop because they believe in quality and quantity, through quality. And so every day I would walk 3 miles so I can have a samosa there. And part of the 3 mile walk was also I saved money for the bus ride and I got the samosa. But I got to walk through these old walls and alleys. And one of the beginning of the Mughal Empire, a person is buried there from 12th century who died because he was playing polo, because polo is a native to Pakistan as a sport. So there's a lot of history that you would get to see, but also in the end, it would result in a very tasty samosa. So I walked back to that samosa shop many years later just to see how they were doing. And I was surprised how much that they actually recognized me. And there were 3 of us, including Johnny, myself, and a friend from Canada. They actually gave us free samosas, and they will take my money because they were so thrilled to see me back. So samosas have a close, attachment to my heart, when it comes to certain items and things. So, but to me, it was part of my education. At the end of the day, I walked back and I had this tasty treat on my way back from school. So for us, when kids can go to school, they can have these amazing, tasty memories going forward.
And are you also saying that then you also haven't changed a bit since high school?
Nope.
Okay, excellent. I didn't think so.
In my heart, for sure.
I love it. All right, so today we are going to be demonstrating both how to make the Alu Mattar samosa, the vegetarian potato pea. We're also going to be making the Keema Alu Mattar, so the beef, potato, and pea. And we're going to be making the apricot sauce. And by the time we're done, if you're not cooking with us, we live here in Lancaster. We'll put a little bundle outside and we're happy to share. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to turn our down camera. As I would just like to have one caveat. I would like to be clear. We are rug people. We eat, sleep, and drink rugs. We also like to cook, but by no means are we professional chefs. So what you're about to see is truly our kitchen here at our house. Our 10-year-old is like hovering around and we're telling him to like, shh, as we're doing this. But if you have any questions or can't see something or can't hear us or whatever, feel free to unmute. This is a lovely small, normally when we do our cooking with Bunyaads, we have like 100 people on the call. And so we can't just have folks easily unmute, but we're small. So feel free to unmute if you have a question or ask something in the chat. I will be watching that. All right, so I'm going to go down to our down camera and we're going to first get started by boiling our potatoes, which my son and I chopped up beforehand. So we have them chopped in little pieces. This is going to be for our beef. This is going to be for our potato pea. So I'm just going to add water to these two pans and get those on the burner. All right.
Yeah, so anybody who's cooking with us, just stay close to your burners because some of that stuff is going to happen pretty fast. So just be ready because not only that, you can also have to turn it off very quickly too.
Do I have to turn it off really quickly?
Well, in case, you know, when you're done.
Oh, in case the
Yeah.
potato water boils.
Yeah.
They probably aren't as messy as we like.
Yes.
All right. So we have our potatoes on and on high, right like that. All right. Now, as that started, we're going to start with mixing up our dough. Okay. So if you are cooking with us, so let me just see. I see Jean is moving. I see Naomi has the recipe and excellent. Okay. So I have my 2 cups of regular flour. Now, is anyone gluten-free? No one's gluten-free. Okay. Because I was going to say, we cook with a group of kids every Sunday morning. And the one little girl we cook with, an Amman Jordan, she's gluten-free. And she tried to make samosa dough with gluten-free flour. It didn't quite work as well. But if you do need a gluten-free alternative, talk with me. But at this point, we're going to use all-purpose flour, 2 cups. We are going to add in our caraway seed, which was right in front of me. Oh, here we are. So again, for those of you who got the bundle, you have been introduced to our new favorite company called Burlap and Barrel. Can you see that? Okay, sorry. So Burlap and Barrel is a fair trade spice company that deals with single origin spices, and they are uber fresh. All right, that, my love, is a tablespoon.
Yes. No, maybe just use it.
No, I can do that. All right, so we are going to be putting 1 teaspoon of caraway seeds into our dough. Okay. And maybe just, we're a caraway family, so maybe.
And it does taste good. Don't worry if you put too much caraway in there. It's going to add a little, you know, salty crunchiness in there.
Could I have the salt?
Yes.
We are going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm sorry, we're using. So 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of caraway seeds. We are going to add 3 tablespoons of our melted butter. Okay, we're going to sort of pour that over this mixture. And yum. All right, and then we are going to add 1/3 to 1/2 cup of water. All right, so Yusuf, I'm going to add the water and you can start mixing it up. So Yusuf, how often did your mom make these?
Actually, not only that, samosas by my mom. My aunt used to actually make them, and she had a little shop, and we used to help her making these samosas by the hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah, she will make easily about 150 to 200 samosas easily. And because she had 3 kids and she was raising them with education and everything. So she needed extra income. So she will make the samosas as like a catering business and she'll sell it to people. So, you know, people use samosas for many purposes. I mean, samosas are pretty much every street corner in Pakistan.
Pam, I will happily send you the gluten-free dough option. Give me just, since we're up, does anyone want to come to Pennsylvania and help unveil a few piles of rugs? Anyone? It's really fun. It's a great workout. So Pam, I will get that off to you. I'll try to get it off to you before the end of the week. All right, how are we doing? You need a little bit more water. All right, so we're mixing up our dough. We don't want a super wet dough. I am using a lukewarm water because I find that lukewarm water sort of melds into the dough in a nicer way. I also find we use King's Mill flour, and I find I always need a little bit more water than what my standard recipes call for.
Well, and it's also when it's bleached, it gets.
It's not bleached.
It's not.
kidding
Yeah, well, that's right. No.
Dear Lord, man.
I'm just
You
saying.
live in this
in
house.
case- Yes, it is. But meaning that if you do have a bleach, tendency to get a little harder faster.
All right, so get in there. None.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to mix it up. And then we are eventually, once it sort of comes together and gets most of that shag into the dough ball, you're just going to take it out onto the countertop and knead it into a very nice, sort of more silky dough. How are you doing, man?
It's coming together.
Okay.
It's just typical dough. You know, just takes a little while.
So I think the other part that someone asked me not long ago is how else, like samosas, they're eaten for lunch, they're eaten for dinner, they're eaten for snacks.
Yeah, pretty much every occasion, from, like I said, from street corners to you know, just as an afternoon snack, they're eaten as well. People, when you're in the marketplace, you go sort of, yeah, just you basically stop somewhere, and everybody has their favorite place, a favorite type of samosas where they like to go and eat, and they might have to go to the other end of the city, and they'll do that, just because it's just one of those things that it's very personal to everybody, and it has to do with either the dough they're making or the sauce they're doing. There's so many varieties of samosas, so this is just a pretty basic type of samosas that we're making.
All right, so when you can pull it together and pull it out in a way that's non-shaggy, pull it out onto your countertop and roll it around. You may need a little bit of bench flour scattered onto the countertop so it doesn't stick.
Yeah, just knee into, like, really get into the dough and just make sure you really, you know, smooth it out, because there are still little, you know, parts of the dough that are not fully moist. And so you want to get it really nice and smooth. And this also helps to spread out the caraway seeds, and that evens out the flavor as you bite into it. And as you can see, my dough is starting to get really nice and elasticy.
Can you show the camera?
Yes.
And your camera is up the top.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna check in on, let's see, I'm gonna check in on Jean's kitchen. Jean, are you guys doing okay there? Jean
So-
looks like sorry. Jean and sous chef,
Mhm.
just gonna check how you're doing and how's your dough coming together.
We're doing fine.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Thank
I'm so glad to see you all cooking with us. Thank you. All right, so Yusuf, show the dough.
Yes.
All right, let me get you back to our kitchen. All right, there you are. Show the dough, man.
Yeah, it's good looking, very good. You know, it's starting to come together very nicely. So just, you know, as you can see, it's no longer sticky or anything. It's very elastic because the butter is really playing the role of keeping it non-sticky, but also allowing it to be very flexible. But you got to give it a little time for all the moisture to run through.
So the next step after this is you are going to roll this. Keep, you know, this is,
Yeah, this is.
you know,
where-
I think this is the
There's-
part that whenever I reflect on Pakistani cooking, and I don't mean to talk about rugs nonstop. It truly is not my intent, but it makes me think that the attention to detail to producing so many of these heritage recipes like samosas, and the detail involved with making the dough just to the right consistency,
Yeah.
the right wetness. It's like this attention to detail that if we don't give value to this type of eating, it's
Yes.
going to disappear.
That's good.
And so it's not much different than like when we talk about our Bunyaad rugs, and like, remember how many years ago, Naomi, you probably remember this, when in the beginning, we had mostly rugs that were produced with regular chemical dyes, and probably in, man, what year was that?
Well, in the beginning,
Mid 90s.
yeah,
We started with
when during
bringing,
the rug events. yeah.
during the rug events, we
But-
started like bringing in more natural dyes.
Yeah.
And wondering and worrying, will people understand all that's involved
Yeah.
to make a good natural dye? Like give an example.
And the reason in the first
I gotta
place
watch the
natural
potatoes.
dyes sort of start disappearing is just the sheer labor that goes into collecting the natural dyes throughout the year, planning ahead, and then not necessarily getting the exact even colors and all that. And so, and many customers didn't understand what that meant. So over the years, people felt discouraged, and then to see natural dyes coming back, the artisans really wanted to stay close to their natural colors and the natural materials.
All right, so I'm gonna let you, and Gene, I don't know who your sous chef, what his name is. I hate to keep calling him your sous chef. Here, ask you to unmute. All right, I'll let you guys knead together.
His name is Sam.
Hello,
Yes,
Sam.
sir.
All right, so can you
Nice.
guys knead together?
Yes,
Knead. Do you have a song you that you
Yeah.
sing or
Yeah.
anything when you knead?
yeah, need.
All
I
right.
just know that I remember seeing my mom and my aunt or anybody who made samosas, you know, they put serious effort into it and making sure the dough is nicely, you know, flexible and it's all moist all through and through, because you're going to get the flavors very evenly too, or especially when you try to make a little samosa, then you'll see the difference when you have a good dough.
All right, man. I think that is
Yeah.
pretty darn awesome.
It's good.
Your
yeah,
mother would be proud.
Yes.
All right, so now at this point, tell everybody what you're gonna do.
So I'm gonna make a little roll, and then you want to make sure you take about 100 gram size dough, basically.
Roughly about 3.5
Yeah,
ounces or
3
100 grams.
Yeah, 3.5 ounces, because that's a perfect size for any dough. That's also typical weight for the chapati that if you go to an Indian restaurant, that's the size they use. So 100 grams, 3.5 ounces is a typical piece of bread.
Oh,
So,
we lost Sally. Let's bring her back in.
Okay.
All right. All right. So you're
yeah, so I'm making a little log here from the dough. And the purpose of that is just so we can evenly spread it and then cut it. And so then you know exactly you're getting the same consistency to run through. So I'm gonna make mark of here and here and here, and that's why it's very important that you do this up front, so then you get the evenness throughout. So here, and then basically you start making a little a ball of dough like this.
so you're taking all 5 of those pieces
Yeah.
and rolling them all into there. That's not a ball. That's a
Well, I mean,
patty.
I made a ball, but then I also flattened it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is it a ball or a patty?
Let's make a ball first. Yes, sir. And
All right.
one
so
step ahead.
I was gonna say, you're
Yeah.
moving ahead. Now, everybody, I don't know what your kitchen's looking like. My potatoes are cooking up quite nicely. My smaller pan is nearly done. My larger pan just needs a little bit more. So I'm gonna wait another 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then I'm gonna add my peas into that, okay? If you are making the meat version I did already fry up our ground beef ahead of time. So I have that set and ready to add into my filling. If you haven't already done your beef, this would be the time to start frying up your beef.
And samosas could be made with any type of ingredients. People put cheese, meat together. People put totally vegetarian. You can put spinach in it. You can put anything you want. But the goal is that you make sure whatever you put in, you should know that how long your samosa is going to cook. And then if you need to cook your ingredients up front, or can they cook that fast in the oil when we put them in? So there's, and plus you can also, put them in your oven. But the oven, the best kind of tasting samosas are always.
It's sort of like saying you can substitute butter.
Yeah.
No, folks, you need to deep fry them. I'm sorry. I was raised in Lancaster County. My grandpa grew up I grew up hearing my grandpa saying how the best potato chips were made by his mother in diesel. She used lard. We're using just regular canola oil. But once they are deep fried, you can heat them back up easily in your oven or your air fryer. All right, so you make the balls.
Yeah.
I am now over into my potatoes. Can everybody see my potatoes? I have to say, making this many things at the same time is the epitome of rubbing your tummy or patting your head or having a 10-year-old son, one or the other. All right, so what I'm going to do is add 1.5 cups of peas to my potato pea mixture. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of peas to the potatoes that are going to be my Alu Mattar. All right.
So what I'm quickly doing right now is also checking all the dough balls just to see if they're even weight, and then adjusting their little bit of their weight and size. So that gives you even base for the samosa. So just take a little bit off if you need to. Just add to the other and then make another nice ball.
All right. How are you making out? Because I have a helper who's going to join us.
Yes.
All right. Folks, we really feel it's important. We feel education is important in all different subjects, both in the subjects of reading, writing, arithmetic, but also in the traditions and our food heritage that is here. Where is your apron, young man? All right, so we have our young helper who's going to join us today. He also is at, where'd you go, man?
He's
Oh,
just
get your apron.
Yes, he's getting his.
Come on in. Got your apron? All right, we want to introduce you to our son, Nerez. Nerez is 10.
Yep, and the tech support.
And the tech support in the back. And Nerez, can I help you tie this? And Nerez made a bunch of samosas this morning with the kids cooking that we do. So he's becoming quite a, would you say you're more an expert samosa maker or samosa eater? Eater, okay, excellent. And how do you like your samosas?
I don't really know if there is any way to make samosas any way they're done. I just like them any way they're done, like just beef.
Just beef, but today you had potato pea and that just like disappeared like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there was any complaint there.
No.
No.
I like beef more.
Right. Okay. So one of the things I'm pulling you in for, man, I'll take you off of our back tech support, and I'm going to have you working on beginning to make our potato pea mixture. Yes, stay over here, Baba. All right. Now it's called How Many People Can We Juggle in Our Kitchen? All right. And folks, if you know our kitchen or if you know our house, you will also know that sometimes who's also in our kitchen is our old dog who's 17 and seems to always enjoy walking into our kitchen and standing at our legs when we do these cooking times.
Yeah.
She's not here yet, but I hear her walk.
She's just right here.
Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do, sorry, here I am just moving ahead, thinking about what Nerez does. You're going to take your potato peas, off of the stove. Your potatoes should be soft, and you're going to drain the water out. Okay. And then, Grace, you want to get the potato masher? Yes, I do not know where it is. Here we go. All right, and
Do we only have one potato?
we do. All right, so I'm going to take you down to the down camera again, Grace. I'll stand here next to Baba. And we will put, folks, I'm in love with our new dish towels. They're upcycled saris, so now I use them for everything. Nerez is going to now, with a potato masher, crush the potato pea mixture. Oops, we can't see you, man. Sorry about that.
Nope.
All right, let me just adjust the camera. He's gonna press the potato pea mixture into a smush, but not a total mash, okay?
Just you want to keep it a little chunky,
A
basically.
little bit chunky. All right, doing a nice job. And can you get that side as well? It's nice to have a helper in the kitchen, isn't it? We're making these, okay, just a little bit here. You want to keep it a little chunky. We were making these with our nephew earlier today too, and he said, but my mom says that I don't make them quite as good, so that she'll happily make them. I said, but Emil, when your mom is 90 and she says she wants a fresh samosa, you need to know how to make it for her. All right, so Nerez.
Now don't we need the
What did we put in? You tell us.
caraway?
No, caraway, close. How about the other seed?
Oh yeah.
Cumin.
Yeah, the walnut.
All right, so we are gonna put into our mixture 1 heaping rounded teaspoon. So do it over, so you don't, of our wild mountain cumin. And now that's it, sprinkle it all around.
Right.
All right.
Don't
We are gonna do,
chili?
we're gonna do our coriander seeds. So we need 1 rounded teaspoon. We like coriander too. 1 rounded teaspoon of our coriander.
Coriander seeds are used because then you get a little crunchy bite when you open it, when you eat your samosa.
We have a silk chili we're going to be using. Okay, so any chili powder, cayenne, fresh chili, we're going to use about a half. I know it's very good. We're going to use about a half teaspoon. Can you want to put? You could use a half to a whole teaspoon. Since, well, no, wait, hold on. We're going to make certain that these are edible for Nanny and Pop too. My parents are born and bred here in Lancaster County. Now, my dad's from Philly, my mom's from here, so they can do spice. But let's just say my father's first visit to Lahore, I was his personal taste tester, right?
Yep.
And I need Nerez 1 heaping teaspoon of our dried pomegranate seeds. Now, if you don't have the dried pomegranate seeds, don't sweat. Get a little bit closer. There you go. I'll move that all around. And then, again, as I don't know what's dangerous. I thought it was dangerous when we just sold rugs. Now that we're selling lots of other things, it's really dangerous. We have these beautiful dishes from the West Bank. We have some cilantro chopped up, and we are going to add about a 1/4 cup of cilantro. And now I'm going to have you mix that around, Nerez. All right, is everyone still doing good? Anyone hungry? Raise your hand if you're hungry.
And any questions?
Any questions so far? Anyone want a young 10-year-old? He also, I mean, I'm only going to loan him because he also vacuums. He vacuumed quite nicely before we got started with this. He's great on dog duty, especially when the dog does things on the carpets, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Did we forget something? We forgot salt. Yusuf. Oh, here's the salt. Whoops.
Oh no.
Well, it's good that we have a rug underneath us.
Yeah.
All right, so soap and water will take care of that on the rug.
Actually, just a wipe would take care of that, just a simple pick up. And just yesterday, somebody called me and said, you know, I dropped something on my rug. And I said, well, just wipe it and then take a little bit of soap and wipe it again. And that's all you need to do.
That good? That is perfect for the potato pea. All right, thanks, Nays. And I'm gonna mix up the other one and then don't go too far because I'm gonna have you help us wrap them,
I'm
okay?
just gonna be on the other.
Great, you can go over to tech support. All right, so that is what our potato pea mixture looks like. It's a fairly dry mixture, I'll be honest, but it's perfect because you don't want it too wet, or when it mixes with the dough, it won't stick, will wet the dough too much. So it's a fairly dry mixture. All right, now I'm going to put that on the stove. Yusuf, you want to move the oil over?
Yes.
At this point, we're going to start heating our oil. We're going to heat our oil to around 300 to 325 degrees. All right. Rub tummy, pat head, rub tummy, pat head.
I can whistle too.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. You're gonna whistle as well? All right. So with, where'd that go, sweet? All right, so with our Keema mixture, it's going to be much the same concept that I just did. So again, like Nere's did, we're going to mash up the potato and peas to a small point, not where we totally miss the chunks, but just sort of help to meld them together a little bit nicer. I did this with a couple Irish kids the other day, and I had to remind them we were not making mashed potatoes. All right, Yusuf, you just added one heaping teaspoon of the wild cumin.
Yep.
You're going to add one rounded teaspoon of the coriander seeds. Can I have this teaspoon? Yeah. Then we're going to add our silk chili again, half teaspoon. Did we eat it?
Silk chili, where did that go?
Uh,
We just had it.
Anybody see where we put the silk chili?
I didn't.
Anyone? Here we are. All right. All right, Anne, I was going to ask you where I put the silk chili. All right, half a teaspoon of the silk chili. And because I know we're going to have meat, I might do actually 3/4.
And silk chili is not that hot at all. It's more flavor. So, you know, if you end up with a silk chili, don't worry if you end up putting more than what recommended quantity.
All right, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of the cilantro. And mix that up, just mix this. All right, mix that up. I'm going to add my 1 teaspoon of salt because if anyone knows me, I also forget to usually add salt. And I'm going to take my 1 pound of ground beef and mix it in. You want to dump that?
Yes.
Now, when we made this earlier today with some friends, you will probably have a little bit of ground beef left. Things that you can do with an Alu Keema ground beef mixture. You can make a taco out of it. You can boil it up, or you can scramble it up with eggs. You can make a roti dough and use this as the filling of a stuffed paratha. There is a myriad of things that you can do with the insides of a samosa. All right, so perfect. So that is our meat variety. Okay? All right.
Simple.
Pretty simple. All right, so Yusuf, it is time to start rolling our samosas. Is everybody at the rolling samosa time? I know, hold on, let me check. Hey, Cheryl, are you ready to roll your samosas?
Mm-hmm.
She's not quite
I'm
ready.
just
maybe.
watching.
Okay, excellent. And I know, I just want to see, and let me see if they're all hungry. Hey, Pam, are you hungry? Are you getting hungry? You're getting hungry. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. All right, now let's go pick on Naomi. Naomi, are you getting hungry? A thumbs up if you're getting hungry. I love it. Okay, and let's see if Bob and Jan, are you getting hungry? Whoops, hold on, there you are. Bob and Jan are getting hungry. Excellent. And finally, Sally, are you hungry? Sally, you're getting hungry. Excellent. All right, so let's come back over here to Yusuf. And Yusuf, you are now taking your dough balls and rolling them out to roughly how?
About 8 inches, I would say 7 to 8 inches. Just so it's a nice size, doesn't get too thin or too thick. So that's your goal, Bob.
Okay, so, but the dough is not, you can't see through it,
Yes.
but using around 100 gram or a 3.3 ounce, 3.5 ounce ball, you're talking 8 to 9 inch rounds.
Yes.
Now I see you flipping it over.
Yes. Because sometimes you want to make sure you get it nicely evenly. But the goal is to have it nice and even. You don't want to leave any, chunkiness or thickness into the dough. This is pretty much about where it needs to be. So right here, I think my dough is ready to be taken to the next step.
Okay, and yes, Pam, if you are looking for a non-dairy oil, you could use any other form of oil in your dough, which is Pakistan. You primarily use a butter or a ghee in the dough, but you could easily just use like a canola oil or avocado oil or anything else.
People
like that.
use canola oil pretty commonly there too. So, there's not a one way that you have to do it.
Your knife, sir.
Yes, thank you. So if you have your dough ready, flattened out like this, you want to basically cut it in half. Just nice and straight, evenly cut, and then
So Yusuf, it was important for you to learn how to cook when you moved here,
it
wasn't
was
it?
very important because that's the only way I was going to have the food I grew up with. Because my first few tries, I basically went to bed eating cereal. And because I was trying to cook the simple things like dal and rice, and I just missed some basic steps. And very quickly, I learned that I need to call my mom or my sisters who used to cook a lot. And so they started teaching me a few basic things and about certain foods. And so I was surprised, how quickly it's amazing to learn these things. Obviously, not every day you get to cook this way, but it's nice to have the heritage food whenever you want to enjoy it.
All right, so I'm gonna step in here and begin with the forming of the samosa. Now, as I told you, Yusuf and I are married. There are many hilarious things when you get married. It doesn't matter where your partner is from. It's always something you learn as you go through life. Yusuf and I walked up the aisle to Potato Potato, Let's Call the Whole Thing Off. We all know that song, right? Yeah. Well, we love that through our diversity and uniqueness, we have found that we love sharing in each other's cultures and traditions. Even though for Yusuf, he was brought up in a culture that when you love a woman, you get her jewelry. He's learned that if you love a girl who's a redhead, you get her pottery and you get her dishes. And so just to show you, we're using, I love these. These are hand-painted Tunisian plates that we have at our store, and a wild bird heart dish that is hand-painted in Colombia with the artisan's name on the bottom. So as I'm forming them, aren't you glad that, jewelry is so much more expensive.
Yeah.
All right, so you take your half dough, you fold it in half like that up to the center. With your two fingers, like you're sealing an envelope in a COVID-friendly way. You wet that side, okay? And then you bring this other side up, overlap it, and then press it down to seal the envelope, okay? So as we lift it up, can everyone see that? We lift it up. We're gonna press that seam down through the center. And we're going to keep the seam on the inside between my thumb and my forefinger. Okay, see that? Thumb and forefinger.
Nice little cup in there.
Right. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take our filling. And I personally, although I mix this with a tablespoon, I like to fill my samosas with a teaspoon because I find I can mush more in there. So I'm going to take teaspoon by teaspoon and push it nicely down in. Because as my sister-in-law told me, you don't want a samosa that has air in it. What's an empty air? You want to fill that samosa. You see how I'm filling it, but then nicely pressing down.
And that's why it's important to have your potatoes or any stuffing, just cook them enough that it softly goes down.
Now you want to fill it to, still want to have a lip. So I would say I'm going to add just about maybe a teaspoon yet. Fill that into the corners. All right, so I'm going to stop there. Can everyone see that? I'm going to leave this area open. And now I'm going to grab water on my 2 fingers again. Go like this. And flip it over with the seam on the top. My son says it sort of looks like a Harry Potter's hat from the sorting hat. That's what it's called, right, Narius? The sorting hat. All right. So as you see, I now have a triangular piece that is nicely and easily crimped down below here and safely crimped because we don't want any of our delicious yumminess to come out in our fry pot. And then taking a little bit of bench flour, just a little bit, I'm placing it on my plate and putting my samosa. Everybody clear on that? Everybody's good? Everybody's ready to help fold? Because I have to say the idea that his aunt used to make 100, 150 of these blows my mind. I am brought up in a county where we make things by the mass. I remember my grandmother making potato salad and chicken salad and oh my goodness, sour cherry pie filling for the mass. But the idea of this hand forming, man. So again, sorry, here I am talking about cherry pie. I got stuck on that cherry pie again. All right, so let's see. We folded it in half. We put the little water. We brought it up the other side. We now open it like this. This time I'm going to fill it, Yusuf, with the beef filling. All right, so again, you see how I'm holding it with the seam against the inside of my thumb and forefinger. And ooh, that's why it's weird. I got a tablespoon there. Hold on. And with a teaspoon, I'm going to begin filling this. And as I do that, I'm smushing down nicely, not pushing too hard because we don't want it to push through the dough. All right. Now, a little bit more. Yusuf, could you check where is our oil at right now? Your oil should be around 300. You want it hot enough that it cooks upon sort of upon contact, but you don't want it so hot that it browns before it truly heats up the insides. Where are we at, sweets?
I think it should be ready because we've been.
Can you read it?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You still need to go get some new glasses,
Nope.
you know? Oh, okay, I'm just checking. All right. All right, so again, I wet the edge here. My seam is on the top. I fold it down over, making it even, and pinch it together. All right, now. We should all come over to Jean and Sam's house. I mean, they need some help. They've got 10 plus samosas to be forming. Here we are. All right, so sitting there. Almost there?
Yes.
All right, so while we continue making our samosas, what I'd like to do, we talk about how intensive Pakistani cooking is in making various chutneys and making our samosas. But that's not the only thing where there's great attention to detail and great time involved. And so what we thought we'd like to do is in 2 minutes, just 2 minutes that we'd like to take to show you how to make a rug. Everybody ready? I mean, if you're making samosas, why not make a rug, right? All right,
With
so.
that much attention to detail just for the
Whoopsie.
samosa.
Sorry. One should not try to have floury hands on the mouse. All right, so I'm going to show you rug making in 2 minutes or less. How's that sound? Because if you can make samosas, you're going to be making your own rug in just a second. So here we go. Oops. Raise, this is when I need you and tech support here, man. All right. Now, hold on, folks. Tech support.
Yep.
Isn't it nice when you can use your 10-year-old for tech support?
That's what
Excellent. All right, we're going to share the screen. And Raise, you want to just tell me? Rug making in 2 minutes.
A hand-knot Bunyaad rug goes through many hands and many steps. From spinning and dyeing the wool, to designing, painting, and translating the rug design into a written system called talon, allowing the artisans to read the correct amount of knots and collars to tie into a rug. They start by setting up the loom with vertical threads called a warp. Artisans will then work on the rug, putting one knot at a time, creating rugs with hundreds of knots per square inch. One of these rugs can take up to 1.5 years to complete. Generally, one artisan will call out the design to everyone working on the loom, in an amazing synchronized knotting flow. They would then secure the rope with horizontal threads called weft, and pack each row pile with a comb-like tool called the punja. The rug is then cut off the loom and taken for cleaning. First, torching the back of the rug to get rid of the wool fuzz, and then washed several times with soap and bleach. This process alone will take several days to guarantee a nice, clean rug. During the finishing process, the rug is sheared to its desired length and checked to assure its quality and look. This process includes blocking, stretching, and applying neem on the back of the rug, moth-proofing it for life. Once the rug is finished, the fringes are tied to secure the rug. A quality rug can be made anywhere by anyone, but it takes time, quality materials, and skilled adult hands. Fair trade puts all of this together, improving artisans' lives and bringing high-quality crafts to your home.
So that was our secret way of basically saying, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by making this many samosas, at least you're not hand knotting your own rug. You know, I personally, what always amazes me is when we're in the villages of Pakistan and to see parents who are working side by side, much like this, and having kids coming in going, mommy, mommy, baba, baba, and yet they continue knotting 40 knots a minute. But because the looms are located inside their homes, something I think North Americans just figured out over this last year with the pandemic, the ability to be able to say, hey, I'm working from home. The kids need to eat. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go take care of my kids. And then I'm going to come back and continue to work on at my work. That is what Bunyaad artisans are doing all the time. And I think one of the things we've been telling all of our folks lately is, if that's what we can all have learned from this pandemic, that having work that you can do inside your home, inside your village home, inside your own community means you have your support system, and means that you can be both a parent and earning a living wage at the same time. Yusuf, you've been just like busy going on here while we've watched the video. Okay, so show me, where are you at?
I'm about to stuff some, some beef in there, and just gonna start filling it up nicely.
Let me move this over for you.
Yeah,
So you're not
thank
over
you.
the hot oil.
Yes, that might be a good
All
idea.
right, so while you're stuffing, I am going to start putting our first samosas down in because our oil is getting quite warm. So we're gonna pick it up and drop it in. Now, my sister-in-law said very clearly to me the first time I started making them with her, she's like, when your samosa pops to the top real fast after you drop them in, you got it going on and your oil's perfect. And I think I see, oh, there I see, it's coming up. Can everyone see that? All right. And I'm going to drop the second one down in. Oh, he popped up nicely. Yay. And we're going to now cook them in the hot oil for about 12 to 15 minutes. Again, this is where I really constantly watch my oil. We did this time put a little bit more oil in. I try to deep fry with less oil. The sad part is you really want your samosas totally submerged. Otherwise, they don't brown evenly. There we are. Yum. And Yusuf, your seams are nice. No one's popping open.
Yeah,
Your mother would be so
perfect.
proud.
Yes.
Is everyone having fun? I hope you're having fun. We are. I just wish we could share some of our food with you. All right, now. All right, pop that over. This guy, just keep moving him across so you have a nice even fry. So I'm going to turn down. We're finding that and learning that deep frying and cast iron is a totally different bird than deep frying how my grandparents always did and how your mom always did, more in like an aluminum or a stainless steel pot.
Yes.
That the cast iron obviously really holds its heat. And so our oil keeps a very nice consistent temp. I just have to constantly turn it down farther and farther.
Yeah.
All right, while you're still filling, you used to make 100 of these?
Yes.
All right, so show
More
everybody.
than 100. I remember making, like, when the whole family will be there. This will be our summer time, just watching her do that and just like learning from her, because we thought that was a fun thing to do. You know, that's exactly what kids like to do when they're, you know, summer vacation.
Did you add water there, man?
I do.
Okay, good. All right, so while these are cooking up, I am just going to do one more item. And again, sorry, Jean and Sam, if I'm moving too fast. I don't mean to, and we can certainly go back and recap this, but I want to begin making the Anarkali apricot sauce. Now, if you're making the Anarkali apricot sauce, that recipe makes a lot. Okay, so today I'm going to half it. So I have 1 cup of dried apricots here. And because life has been a little busy, I'm actually going to shake up the recipe a little, and I'm going to add some of our leftover breakfast apples to that. I am going to add about 3/4 inch of ginger root. And we do not peel our ginger. We do buy organic ginger. And there is just so much flavor in the ginger skin that you want that. That was a big switch. When I first saw Yusuf do that, I gasped and said, "Oh, hun." And you said,
the skin has the most flavor, so.
and my mom has already done that all the time.
Then always done that way.
And one knows one should never argue with one's mother-in-law,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All right, so ginger in there. I'm going to add, where's my sugar? Oh, right here. I'm going to add my 1/2 cup of sugar. And I'm going to add a little bit of, where is my silk chili again? We go through a lot of silk chili here at our house. About a 1/2 teaspoon. I do like because The apricot is so nice and sweet. I do like a little bit of bite to it.
And just to give you an idea of the background of the apricot, Pakistan is the second largest apricot producer in the world. So apricots are very common, used even the oil and the fruit itself, as well as the, making sauces and everything. So it's been a century-old tradition in that part of the world.
All right, sorry, I had to take a quick break from my sauce to get out my samosas. Okay, let me quick add these down to, and I'll start the sauce again. All right, two more down in there, bubbling away. All right, to this concoction, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of vinegar, just like that, and 2 cups of water. And I don't think this sauce gets any simpler. We put it on our stove. We turn it on high to medium high, and we let it cook away for about 30 minutes, okay? And I'll show you what we do with it at the end. All right, so now let's go in and just check in on Jean and Sam, since there are other cooking folks. Whoops, what did you guys do here? Hold on a sec. Oh, there we are. Lost you there for a little bit. All right, so Jean and Sam, how are you doing?
I think we're doing pretty well. We're not cooking them right now.
Oh, they're beautiful. Sam,
Oh,
were
wow.
you two originally Pakistani?
Yeah. They have
A few times.
I've been there twice, but not enough to be able to absorb much. So
And when you went to Pakistan, where did you go?
Lahore.
Lahore.
I was there on what's called an exploration trip with the Presbyterian Education Board.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Fantastic. Well, as any Lahori will tell you, if you went to Lahore, you have enjoyed gastronomically the best parts of Pakistan.
And there's other people on this call who have made that same trip.
Raise your hand if you've been to Lahore before. Oh, awesome. I have to say, it's not every day that we see this many people who say they've been to Lahore. That's fantastic. What was your favorite parts about going to Lahore? Someone raise their hand to tell us. Bob and Jan, what was your favorite parts of going to Lahore?
Well, we enjoyed, of course, meeting all the students there. That was inspirational.
That's
And went out to Martinpur and saw the school there. I guess the salt mine tour was kind of neat too. Went out to the
yes.
salt mines.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, to think that happened over 2,000 years ago, that they discovered salt there. And to realize that how Greek the history is for the first 7 centuries of what is called Pakistan today.
And how about our friends in Hershey? What was your favorite parts of being in Lahore? Oops, hold on. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Yeah, it was so much fun to meet the people and the kids in the schools. Everyone was so friendly, so gracious, so accommodating, so helpful. It was all that made it so much more memorable.
Well, visiting the rug place was a highlight.
Yeah.
So you actually got to go to the Bunyaad warehouse and offices in Lahore. That's fantastic. And I heard you got to enjoy some of the awesome cake that my husband told his brothers to make certain you all try.
Right.
That's right.
Fantastic. Now, someone said Cheryl, you said you lived there for Cheryl, I lost Cheryl. Cheryl, you lived there for 16 years. I might find her in a little bit. And Sally, what was your favorite part about Lahore?
Well, I was at the rug factory. Going through the factory was wonderful. Seeing the kids was probably the greatest thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think every single time I go back to Pakistan and I sit there, and I think one of the most memorable and most poignant trips was our first trip back to Pakistan when our son had just been born. And it was his first trip. you know, I have to be honest, I'm a new mom. I have no idea how you travel with like this 10-month-old and how you keep a 10-month-old safe from like eating things he shouldn't, or, you know how it is when the aunties come up. Hold on, it's like this. Oh, masha, oh. And then they put food in his mouth and you're like, okay. And I began to be concerned and worried. And I'll never forget when we were visiting a village, and you know, both Yusuf and I work for Bunyaad. So we're working, and I'm taking pictures and Yusuf's talking and connecting with artisans. And one of the women comes up to me and says, you know, you are a child of our village. He is a child of our village. I'll take care of him. Don't worry. And, you know, before I knew it, her husband was walking around with her kid, going from house to house, introducing him around. And I thought, wow, if we could all have folks realize what a hospitable, amazing culture Pakistan is, and how we all have that same desire to have community, to feel together and to be cared for. You know, that's a basic desire, basic need, and to have your child loved and cared for. And, you know, watching artisans say to us, wow, because of my job, my kid's in school. And not only is my little kid in school, but my daughter, she just graduated and she's heading off to university. That's empowering. You know, I think there is nothing more powerful than watching by example, seeing mothers, parents pushing for more education.
Yeah. And what consistency in work and opportunity can do for people in the villages, especially, and how much it changes the future of every community. I've seen villages where they're only 3 miles away from the border between India and Pakistan. Unfortunately, the borders between the two countries stay pretty hot, which is very unfortunate. But the reality is it's the people who suffer from it. And that means basic things, education, opportunity. These are people who have the same skills and capabilities and, you know, could have just as much bright future that anybody else can. And hence we've seen examples where one child gets good education, becomes somebody successful, from a doctor to teacher to whatever they want to be. Because education is just opening doors for people to become and be the person they want to be. It could be that they want to be a rug daughter. It could be that they want to be a doctor. It could be they want to be a scientist. So there's lots of possibilities, and that's why education is so important. And it just sets the community, it creates a balance among everybody. It's not us and them, and all of a sudden people need each other. So education opens doors, and that's why we want to be part of this. And that's what Fair Trade and Bunyaad has done over the decades since the 1960s.
Okay, the samosas are looking real good.
Yeah, they are.
And you know, just like every Pakistani, every Pennsylvania Dutcher likes to eat their food hot. So I want to show you what I'm doing with the apricot sauce. So earlier today, like I said, we cooked with a group of kids. So I have what's cooking up currently. Hold on, let me just show you our stove again. This is truly the epitome of rubbing tummy, petting head. All right, so down to our stove quick. All right, so you see the fruit bubbling away right over here. Okay, well, earlier today, I did the same thing with the same group of ingredients. I now have them in my Vitamix mixer. You can use a blender, you can use an immersion wand. I added a little bit more water because I wasn't paying attention and I boiled it down a little bit too far. So I add a little bit more water, comes up to around a cup and a half. I'm gonna go whirl this around until it's smooth. All right, so I'm gonna go do that. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any other desires of things that they wanna cook sometime in the near future? We do a cooking with Bunyaad. This is a benefit, as you know, for friends of PEB. But on the second Sunday of every month, we do a cooking with Bunyaad. It is at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is usually us, although many of our staff also like to cook, so they will join us many times as well. And it's just a fun party. This last week, last Sunday, we did Pakistani biryani. We did a vegetable version and a chicken version. We had over 150 people sign up, representing 7 different countries. So really lots of fun to be cooking together, and again, to be sharing the stories. Any questions? I'm going to whirl this up while you can handle your questions.
I have a question. How deep of oil did you put in the pan? I missed that.
So I hate to use the oil that much, but honestly, if you don't basically have it, I'd say up about 4 or 4.5 inches.
Okay.
You don't have enough room for your samosa to move in, swim around a little, stretch itself, and then brown.
Okay.
So I had about 4.5 inches. We will save this oil for another week or 2, no, we used meat. No, well, if we didn't make the meat version, we would save it. Making the meat version, I'm sorry, I was raised by a nurse. We will get rid of it. Well, hold on a second.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you tell me when your cooking classes are again that you were talking
It's
about?
every month. It's the second Sunday at 4 o'clock. Okay.
4 p.m. Eastern time.
4 p.m. Eastern time. That's important to know. Because
Sorry, just making loudness.
I was wondering, Yusuf, can you freeze those samosas before you fry them?
yes.
Can you
Well,
freeze the
can bake
samosas
them too.
before you fry them?
Yeah, you can bake them too if you choose to do so. Frying gives you the instant and more crispier experience. That is how traditionally samosa has been made. So, but you can choose to do otherwise also.
Well, okay, but we
But can
recommend
you
frying.
freeze them?
Yes, so we will always pretty much always fry them, because like he says, you get a better crisp, you get a better taste. We will then freeze them, and then when we're ready to reheat them, we will thaw them and then either put them in our toaster oven or put them. I got an air fryer for Christmas, and I have to say I fought against it. I have a real issue with like single-use appliances that I can't find uses for. All right, I admit I sort of like the air fryer, and they are perfect for like reheating samosas in a really, really nice, crispy way.
And if you do that, just put a little oil on the shell. It would make it nice and crispy that way, and have a little bit of oily taste to it too, because you need that for the dough to become a little nicely tasty.
All right, so I'm going to show you how we're going to plate this up. And I'm sorry for those of you who are not cooking them right now. I'm now making you super hungry. I know. All right, so I am going to take our Tree of Life plates. I'm going to add a little bit of apricot sauce on the side. Oh my gosh, that's excellent. And we may have the samosas.
Yes.
Oh. All right, and then I am going to bring them out of my basket and put them on either side. And you have a samosa treat for 2. Yum. All right, here, Cheryl, for you. Naomi, for you. Hold on a minute. Bob and Jan, for you. Pam, in your household, you. Let's see, Sally, and Anne in your household. How's that? That way we can, and Jean and Sam will send some as well. I hope you've had fun. We certainly have had a lot of fun. We have been recording this, and if you were part of the premium package, we will have this up on the website, and I will send you the private link to this later. As Yusuf was talking about, we do our Cooking with Bunyaad second Sunday of every month, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same sort of antics, same sort of fun, usually a child or a dog interrupting. And we will continue to be doing this the next 2 Sundays as a benefit for Friends of PEB. Raise your hand if I'm seeing you other times. Raise your hand. Oh, excellent. Okay. So we will, next week is going to be the tribal pilau, which is amazing. And I always like to tell people it is something that makes my mother-in-law and father-in-law super happy when we make it when they come to visit. But I can also feed it to my 95-year-old Pennsylvania Dutch great aunt who does not call me Jenny. She calls me Chinne. Och, Jenny, now this is pretty good. You know, so it is a dish that spans so many cultures. She actually called us after she was here and she's like, how did you make that? Or do you mind sending some to me? And then in 2 weeks, we will be making naan katai, which is this delectable saffron infused butter cookie with Kashmiri chai. How many of you have had Kashmiri chai? It's the pink chai. It's amazing. It truly is pink, but there is a technique to aerating it. So if you are on that class with us, we do an aeration dance. So we are like, work out your grooves and your moves because we will be doing an aeration dance to truly aerate it enough that it gets a perfect pink color. So those are our next 2 classes. If you are signed up for them, fantabulous. Looking forward to seeing you. If you are not, Laurie wanted to make certain to tell you, you can still sign up. Don't worry, there's still time. So thank you so much for being with us. And we are going to end today with some words or images from some of our most dedicated customers who usually provide, what did we say, experiences that allow you to know that when you're working with fair trade rugs, when you put quality materials in, you get a good quality material out that's easy to clean. And so with that said, I will say adieu and share our words from our friends. Hold office, everybody. Until next time. Goodbye. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.